I was a cannabis smoker and user for since I was
younger,
16 years old. That was my substance of choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll ask you first, because do you consider yourself, like, do you abuse marijuana now? And abuse is such an aggressive word, but I think that's what we're talking about.
I learned how to use it. That's the thing, is when I first started to enjoy it, I didn't know when I shouldn't be high. In terms of obviously I didn't want to be high at work. But other than that, like, I didn't know if I should be going to mom and dad's high, or if I should be in public high, if it's good for my social anxieties. I just really didn't know. But I did a lot of learning, especially this last year, in 2022. I did a lot of learning on what weed is for me, and have really developed a relationship with weed that I really enjoy. And it's mainly like every single night I'll smoke before going to bed, or put on it like I want to be high for the movie type of thing. And it's like to talk about it like that, like, oh, I need it. It's like, sometimes it does feel like that, where I do need it. And it's hard not to feel that way when you really want something.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's a bad feeling. I guess through this period of my life where I'm now accepting weed into my life, I'll figure that out in the long run, but it does feel a lot healthier than alcohol. And I do feel, if there's one thing about weed that is testing the boundaries for me, is it's with my anxiety, because especially recently, I've been having some highs that get really introspective, but like so introspective that you kind of start losing sight of your reality. Like kind of like I did when I was younger, when I would get high. And the reason why I never would smoke weed is I'd start to have these anxiety panic attacks of what's real. Am I real? And, sometimes it can get pretty negative, but I've gotten really good at controlling those thoughts. But I'm creating a relationship with marijuana now, and I started smoking at 29, like really, when I think about it. And so I think I'm in the learning side of it. I can't tell if I'm dependent on it. When I do go through phases where my anxiety is really bad, I'll stop smoking for a handful of days. And I think that says a lot.
That says a lot.
Because it's really anxiety focused. That's my worry with weed. With
any substance, man, it's like if anything happens where you're like, wow, that was intense, and you stop it.
Yeah.
That's called learning the relationship. You're taking a step back, being aware.
Yeah.
And like, I could never do that.
Yeah. You very recently, have taken marijuana out of your life right when I start to make love with it. I know, baby.
Man. This is the same thing I was talking about the alcohol. It's like, I'm not here to judge the substance.
Yeah.
I'm only judging myself. And even that has been aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'm in a new stage of my life where I'm just trying to mother myself. I'm trying to be gentle.
Yeah. And
the only way that I got to stopping my cannabis use was by being like a mother to myself. But yeah, talk about trauma.
Yeah.
I personally have learned my relationship with cannabis. Cannabis was I could smoke it by myself. I could smoke it with friends. I could smoke it at parties. I could smoke it at movies. I never had an issue until I was finally ready to be honest about it. And you were one that really helped me learn more about, like, I would feel certain anxieties and like just in life over years. And you would always say these comments where you'd be like, it's probably because you're high. And I'd be like, fuck you. Weed doesn't give me anxiety. It kills my anxiety. Weed is the medicine for my anxiety and my depression. I feel great on weed, which is true. But weed can give that low buzz anxiety no matter what. And I got so used to that low buzz anxiety of just life being high that like I forgot that weed can make me anxious.
Yeah.
And like, so social gatherings, hangouts, whatnot, I became super addicted to the anxiety of weed. Where like I was an anxious person normally, social anxiety, insecurities, not wanting to make new friends, afraid of getting my heart broken, all these things, where like weed was the new thing that like kind of like got me in a zone of safety, feeling like, okay, now I'm high, we're chilling, bro, there's nothing to worry about. And then like I would ruminate on thoughts or have certain things, and there'd be like a low buzz anxiety, and I would just be like used to that like, oh no, this is just how I feel. even though I was saying that it was like really medicinal. And I think that like there was this really weird imbalance because I was using it so much and all the time. And like, especially when I quit alcohol was when I learned how incredible. I said this thing most of my life. I just want to be able to smoke with Snoop Dogg someday and keep up. And I got to a place where I was like, I can keep up.
Yeah.
Because my tolerance was so high. And it was like I can use it in any situation, and it made me feel great. And it would only last 15 minutes, and I'd be ready for more.
Yeah.
And you know that if you're smoking and you are high for 15 minutes and you need more, your tolerance is probably maybe pretty high.
Probably a little too high.
I don't even know if it's too high because there are a lot of cultures in this world and people in this world that it's such a medicine. It's such a part of their culture where it's not about being high or not. It's about this is what I do.
Yeah.
It's like I smoke weed. That's like, no, it's like I get off work and I smoke. Some people like just smoke it all day long. And and so for me, I no longer call cannabis. For me, I refer to it as
Mother Ganja, right?
Mother Ganja. Yeah. And I learned that recently at a retreat where I really learned my relationship with cannabis was that Mother Ganja is a mother. Like the plant itself is like referred to as a mother. And I think that as I've been really working on my trauma and in this cast and just through 3 years of therapy and retreats and other plant medicine like psychedelics, I've learned that I have feel like I have haven't had the love of a mother, which is hard to even admit because I love my mom. And I know she really loves me, but the parental trauma and religious trauma that I developed was like, I never felt accepted by my mama fully for what I thought and what I felt, like wanting to like not be a Christian and figure things out on my own. And it was very clearly communicated to me that I was wrong.
Yeah.
And we're not supporting you.
Yeah.
For most of my life, I felt like that was kind of like, you're on the wrong path. I'm very disappointed in you. And it was like, but I'm a good person. I'm a really good person. And it was like, yeah, but you don't believe what we believe. And it was like, I didn't feel like I had the unconditional love of a mother. So when Mother Ganja came into my life at 16 and I was dealing with severe insomnia since I was like 8 years old, I found a substance that held me at night and was like, shh, poor baby. It's okay, poor baby.
You're going to fall right to sleep.
And I'd fall asleep and I'd be like, and I'd wake up like, wow, I slept 8 hours.
Yeah.
Thanks, cannabis. I'm going to be using you every single night.
Yeah.
And because I had such bad, and that's like insomnia was a thing that I felt like I developed really first.
And I feel like that's a really tough thing with weed that I'm starting to learn is that when you do smoke it pretty often at night, it helps you sleep so well. Like just, it'll knock me out, dude. Especially if I'm trying to go to sleep. I can fall right to sleep and then I will be out for the entirety of the night, wake up right at 8 and be ready to go.
Right.
And then the days where I do take 3 days off, that first day, I normally don't sleep well.
Right.
And that second day, I'll probably be so tired from not sleeping well that I go right to sleep. But for you, it was different. It was like you created quite the dependency on it that you would go 5 days without sleeping.
Yep.
With not even a wink. And you would be like losing your mind.
Yep.
And I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Because it all started with insomnia. So I never fully dealt with insomnia.
Yeah.
I just found medicine that worked. And cannabis, Mother Ganja is a medicine. It's a plant medicine. It's that's the thing is I used to always think it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And that's fine. However people want to associate with it, it's fine. But when I finally took a big step back, I've quit before, but I had to quit for like nursing school and other things. But when I quit for myself, the one only time I quit for myself since I was 16 years old was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And
I beg to differ. You went through a period, I want to say 5 years ago, when stuff was getting tough with your son and you were going through some really
and I quit
stuff and you quit for like 6 months.
But what kept going?
No, I thought you quit alcohol and weed. Or did one of them stay around?
Every time I've quit something, the other thing is picked up.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's been like a teeter-totter.
Okay.
And I have vivid, dramatic or traumatic memories of how that's happened. You know, being like, I can't sleep, so I've gone to booze. and booze does not help you sleep. Not
You
me.
have to drink a lot of them to help you sleep. And
But-
then
and
then you're not sleeping, baby. You're just like,
Yeah, then you wake up feeling like shit.
yeah, terrible.
But yeah, like really choosing to, you have to be ready to stop something for yourself. And so for me, I never thought I'd quit cannabis. It was such a successful plant medicine, but I had to be really honest.
Well, so do you, let me ask you this. Do you have, what's your expectation on you and cannabis, mother
Now?
ganja? Are you in this perspective of, oh, I'm just never going to smoke weed again?
Oh, no. I'm not in that way with actually anything.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of myself still.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm living a new life, a life that's just living for me, not for covering up things. And living for me is painful. Like I'm scared of life. I'm scared of people. I'm scared of relationships, but I'm facing those fears now head on. So anything that scares me, I'm like, go deeper.
Yeah.
So if it's like, hey, you should call that friend you've been wanting to reconnect with. Yeah, but they're probably busy. Go deeper.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're busy? Nah, go deep. Go like stuff with my son. That's causing me so much anxiety. Go into that. Like not being afraid of that. And where in the past, when you're high, you might face certain things, but like being high is so wonderful. Like everything's just like, we're good.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to do some paperwork that I don't want to do. Smoke a joint. And you get it done.
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
That's why I became so dependent on it.
Yeah.
Because I could write music, I could do paperwork and just be floating on that level of just like, take a weighted blanket and wrap it around you. And like, and it's like, and I benefited a lot from it. So that's why I thought cannabis that's my medicine.
Yeah.
I still feel like it's a huge successful medicine. Like it works for me in my body and my mind, but something's changed. And what's changed is I took a big step back and had the opportunity to go on a retreat that required me to quit everything.
Yeah.
And when I do anything, I go to win. And I didn't want to go in half-ass. And so I did things very disciplined and seriously and didn't sleep for 6 days. It was like 3 months ago and did it. And it was excruciating. But I, in that 6-day process, learned there's something here. There's something going on right now. Like I am scared as a little baby in bed every night. Like what's going on? How is this like, there's something going on. I need to like really learn this. And I just want it so bad. I want it so bad. Like literally that feeling like I can't sleep. I don't know what to do. I feel so scared. Like really fucked up. And that once that first week was over, that second week was just like, I started dreaming again because I had stopped dreaming for so long. And not to get too lost in my process of quitting it, just the fact that like I was able to learn that my connection, and I don't think this is the same for you and mom and dad. Like you had a very different experience at the home. Like I was pretty much booted out. Yeah. Right after senior, like right at the end of senior year of high school, they were just like, you got to go. And I was like, you're right. I have to leave now. Yeah. And it was like a kicking out and a mutual, I'm out. Yeah. And so when I left, it was like, I didn't have anything else. Like weed was whether it was a bad breakup or mommy issues or daddy issues, it was like, I just want to be held and coddled. So weed became that for my mind, for my body, for my thoughts, and lasted most of my life at that age, 16, 17, until about 32 years old. Yeah. And what I learned was that like, I need to be my own mother. And I explained that on a podcast prior, but like at this retreat, I had this out of body experience where I became my own mother out of body, wrapped my arms around me, and my real arm came around like this. But right in my experience, I was me right here holding me just like a mother would. And I was just like, whispering sweet love nothings, sweet love everything. I was just going, baby, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I love you, Nene. And I was just like, you do? And it was just like me being a mother, like I'm your mother and I'm never going to, I've always been here. I'm never going to leave you. And it was like this, I experienced really kind of for the first time, me mothering myself. And I learned like, we all have mommies and daddies. Some of us have really bad experiences with mommies and daddies. Some of us have really wonderful mommies and daddies. But the reality is, mommies and daddies die. We all die. And I think at some point, who's going to mother you when your mother's not there? Who's going to mother you when you have no mother?
Or who's going to mother you when your mother's love isn't going to work for you anymore?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be the one.
Yeah.
And so like my relationship has helped show me that. But even that was kind of like, oh, my girl ain't going to mother me.
Mm-mm.
She's the type of girl that's like, yo, Nathan, you need to get your shit together. And there's like so much love and she has so much coddling. But when it comes to me being a like, nobody understands me, like a crying, like little, my inner child being like an 8-year-old is what I've always said. When that 8-year-old would come out and be like, nobody gets me, not even you. She'd be like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Like I came here to love like a person, not a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned was like, no one's going to love that 8-year-old like that. Like no one's going to like when that 8-year-old's like, nobody understands me. I am the only person.
Yeah.
And that's this mother inside of me that's now like, yo, hey, buddy, come here. Nobody gets me. I do.
Yeah, dude. It sounds like the definition of self-love.
It's self-love.
It's like pure ego destruction to a point of where you had an out-of-body experience where you loved yourself to the nth degree.
Oh, yeah. And it was
showing you and proving to you that in this reality, in this existence, whatever this truly is, you really only need yourself.
Yeah.
And I think there's something so powerful there when it comes to addictions and when it comes to substance abuse, because I feel like the abuse is trying to feel that love.
Right.
And
or the lack of it.
The lack of it. Yeah. And either hiding from the lack of it, and it's all yourself. It's all self-created, whether it be trauma that was forced upon you in your childhood, whatever. We all have trauma. But in reality, it comes down to you're just not loving yourself.
Right.
You're just not loving yourself.
Yeah. And loving myself is, oh, I'm anxious today because of, or like, I don't want this to be happening to me anymore. I'm in pain. And it's like, normally that feeling is when I'm in pain, I just want to be out of it.
Yeah.
I just want to get out of it. Like me and Megan, my fiance, she just talked to me about this. And it's like, when we're in pain, obviously I just want to be out of it.
Yeah.
So whatever I do after that, if it's like out of line or reactive, it's probably because I just don't want to be in pain anymore. And so for me now, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want this. I'm scared. It's like, go deeper.
Yeah.
How could I do that? Because baby, you're never alone.
And that's because
and that's my inner voice.
Yeah.
I love you so much, Nene. You're never going to be alone, buddy. But I'm so scared right now. It's like, but you're never alone.
But the reason why you can tell yourself to go deeper is because you're realizing your reactiveness is from the fear of the pain.
Right.
And so once you realize that I feel the fear, I feel the pain, I'm going to react. And like you're recognizing that it's because of that feeling. You're taking control of that feeling, and then you can't react because you're already recognizing why you would react, and it's all self.
Right.
And then so you're like, I'm going to go deeper, and this is going to suck.
Go deeper.
And then you go deeper and you start crying.
Yeah.
You start losing it a little bit. You think you're losing it, but really you're actually just feeling the feelings you're supposed to feel. Yeah.
And you know what really helps going deeper? Being able to talk about it out loud with somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel very fucking lucky to have you.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's me and my partner, my fiance.
Totally.
I have found somebody where we both are learning every day, every week, every month. And it's hard, where it's like, I notice something's going on in her life, or she notices something going on in my life. And she's like, comes up to me, and we're different communicators. And she stands right by me, and she's just like, what's going on? And I'm like, can you give me some space? And she's and like, that's how I used to react. Right. But now it's like, yeah, I've been feeling pretty uncomfortable for the last 4 hours. And that's enough time for me to realize I need help. Well, what's going on? And it's like, oh my God, this is in my head. I'm like, this is so hard to know how to communicate right now because I'm just feeling like I don't want to deal with something. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is, if I'm not able to communicate to myself on the inside what's going on, like that mother, and talk about it with that mother inside of me, then I have a partner who's there who cares about me, who loves me, who feels safe enough now to enter into that fear place with me and be like, hey, you don't have to be alone. I can't take your fear from you, but use me as a sounding board. Tell me, what are you scared of right now? And I'm like, well, I'm really scared of this, this, this. And when I say it all out loud to her, it's like, I can breathe.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make the pain go away. It just makes me feel less alone.
Yeah.
And so I feel really lucky to have her. I feel really lucky to have this cast. I feel really lucky just to have that inner dialogue now. And that is why when you say, what's my relationship with weed? That is why I have nothing bad to say about weed.
Yeah.
That's why I have like only weed has like only shown me the love of a mother. And now it's time that I do that for myself.